I think that a lot of deep journalism, niche journalism, current affairs type stuff, there's too much focus on story. I don't think that we serve ourselves well as journalists by limiting what we do to stories. You know, there's more to conveying understanding than that. I think that interactivity itself can be used to convey understanding. And you know, I do interactive journalism, and one of the things that I'm into, that I'm developing, is video games that are journalism devices, right? Games are a medium, just like text or video or audio or anything else. And video games can be used to convey understanding without narrative. And for big complex systems like climate change, like international negotiations, the arms trade, national budgets and things like that, these are huge complicated systems that it's very important for people to understand. But if you abstract them into a narrative, into a story with characters and with locations and that kind of stuff, then you end up with something that maybe isn't the best way to convey that understanding. Maybe it is. I'm not saying that video games should be used for all journalism, but I'm saying that every medium has its own advantages, and video games are really one of the best for conveying an understanding of complex systems.
I think some of the niche issues are the same issues that say an old style beat reporter has, and that is, don't write just for your sources in the niche. So remember, if you're trying to, you may be covering something quite tight vertical in news, but make sure that it's not only accessible to the people who live in that niche, but also maybe to other people outside of it as well. I mean, politics, and we all talk about the Westminster bubble, or inside the Beltway politics coverage. And so I think that's one thing that niche journalists have to remember. I think the interesting thing is there are niches where there's quite a huge amount of audiences that have specialist knowledge. So consider your audience. I mean, it's a pretty standard old school type of thing that we're all taught as journalists, but I think it is important when you're following a niche that sometimes you have to modulate the facts and how you present them, whether you're just speaking to the niche or whether you're trying to reach the general audience as well.
I think it's an absolutely exciting time to be getting involved in journalism. I don't really see all these drawbacks, probably because I haven't experienced it myself, but I'm probably, because I'm from sort of digital native, I perhaps don't realise all the hardships that traditional news is going through, but it's a massively exciting time for young journalists to get involved, experiment with so many different tools and models, and just see what works really. It's a massive open field. You don't have to be hemmed into one area or another, and I would just advise people to sort of get out and go and have a play, and if you've got that entrepreneurial streak in you, go and nourish it, but if you still want to carry on and go and do news in a traditional way, then there's still those opportunities there.
I think there's actually a blueprint of core skills that you need to be a journalist regardless of your niche. I then also think that, as the panel discussed, there's a mix of having a mindset and a curiosity, and then perhaps you might have a portfolio of more specific skills for the platform that works really well to tell that story and to engage your niche, your consumer. But actually, in terms of your market, those skills are the same. What you need is knowledge about your market and understanding, and at the heart of that is spending time with your readers, your consumers, your customers, whatever you want to call them.